Welcome back, fellow witches, seekers, and flame watchers, to another episode of Witchy Ways for Modern Days. This is Brittany, again, your host from Winslow Naturals, and today we are doing something a little different. This isn't just a cozy chat, or even just a lesson, or me talking incessantly for 30 minutes. This is a highly requested deep dive, essentially a deep dive encyclopedia of flame work. I want you to think of this episode as a spoken handbook, a guide that you can return to whenever you light a candle and wonder, what is this flame trying to tell me? Because flame work is not random. It's not superstition. It is a dialogue. Fire itself becomes the medium, and that flame, whether it's steady, dancing, spitting sparks, or leaving behind tunnels of wax, is a language. And it is a language that fortunately you can learn. A language that once you begin to read it, will make your practice sharper, more responsive, and make you feel more connected. So this episode will be detailed, it will be practical. By the end, I hope that you will feel as if you've been handed a textbook of flame behaviors, something that you can use to interpret spells, meditations, and rituals for years to come. So I suggest grabbing a notebook, possibly a laptop, taking notes. Let's get comfy, perhaps even light a candle as you listen, and step into the fire with me. So flame work at its heart is simple. You light a candle, and then you watch the flame. But within that simplicity lies an endless world of signs. Modern witches love flame work for one big reason. It doesn't require any extra tools. The candle itself is often already part of the spell. Those are spell candles, those are going to be intention candles. You don't need tarot cards for this, you don't need pendulums, runes. The flame is already there. It is alive, breathing, and speaking to you. That flame becomes your spell's quote-unquote report card. It tells you how the energy of that ritual is moving. Is it smooth, blocked, rushed, resisted? Is it supported? The flame is telling you when spirits are leaning in, and it's showing you when opposition energy arises. But unlike a very hard and distinct yes and no divination, flame work is nuanced. It's layered. It is contextual. And that's why this episode isn't just a, well, if it looks like X, then the meaning is ABC. It's about ranges of meaning and how to apply them in real time. Before we jump into the quote-unquote encyclopedia itself, I want you to get grounded in how to read flames well. We want to make sure that we eliminate all drafts, so still air is required. We're going to close the windows, turn off any fans close by, avoid sitting directly under an air vent. Otherwise, you're going to end up reading your HVAC system instead of a candle. Then we want to make sure we're on a safe surface. Always place candles on a heat-proof, fire-safe base. I don't want you to ever interpret a sign that could just be, your wooden shelf is catching fire. That's not a sign. That is a hazard. Also, let's make sure the wicks are trimmed. About a 1/4 inch is typically ideal. If the wick is too long, you're probably going to create smoky chaos. If it's too short, you're choking the flame. Both of these things are going to distort your readings, so make sure about a 1/4 inch. And then before you stare into the flames for meaning, I want you to focus your presence. Take a breath, set your intention, quiet your mind. The flame is not just entertainment, it is communication, and it is listening to a language that we need to learn how to speak. All right, You followed my instructions, my requests, and now you're ready. Let's open that encyclopedia. So this is the meat of today's episode, and it is long. I want you to think of it as a reference that you can revisit. Again, if you have a journal or you have a laptop or even your phone in the notes app, take notes on this. It's going to be extremely helpful to you, I hope, in the future. We're going to go through some categories. We're going to go through some outcomes, meanings, interactions, dynamics. So let's start. I want to talk about flame height. So how tall that flame is once it is burning. If you see a tall, a strong, steady flame, so it's bright, it's upright, usually not moving too much, this typically means that the energy is flowing powerfully. Your spell is aligned, your intention is strong, and supportive force is present. Meaning either your supportive force or potentially spirit guide supportive force. So the application here is trusting this spell. If this is happening, results from the spell are likely to manifest themselves quickly. Now, if you have a low or a weak, struggling flame, so what you're going to see is like a barely hovering flame above the wick. And it even looks like it might die or blow out any second. This is typically resistance somewhere. It's a weak focus, potentially, or it's an energetic blockage. The application here is I would add reinforcement. Chant if you have to, visualize ritual if you have to, or repeat this ritual when you feel a bit stronger, when your energy feels stronger. If you have a flame that grows stronger over time, so it starts fairly small, but then over the span of X amount of minutes, even seconds, really, it grows stronger. This is a slow building, slow moving spell, but the energy is gaining momentum. The application I want you to take away from this is to be patient. The energy that you have planted here will bloom in a bit. It's coming. It's just going to take a little bit more time than perhaps you initially thought. And then if you have a flame that does the complete opposite, it shrinks over time. It starts quite strong and tall, but over a period of minutes to hours, it shrinks. The energy is draining. This could be opposition interfering, or it could be a spell that is running out of fuel, essentially. In the application, I want you to ask yourself, is the intention here aligned? If it is, yes. So if this is something that you actually want to do and you're not doing this ritual because you feel like you need to, you actually want to do it, repeat it with stronger focus. So once that flame is gone, you can repeat it with a stronger visualization, with a stronger energy pull. Now, flame movement, this is a huge thing. This is the part that most people ask about, is how a flame moves, because the movement is incredibly important. If you have a steady, still flame, typically this means that the energy is calm. It's stable. It's uncontested, meaning there's no opposition. There's no baneful work at play. It's typically going to be something that is one-sided steady. This is something that is excellent for grounding or protective work. So this is what you're striving towards, what you're aiming for with that type of directed work. If the flame is flickering, like it could be a fast flicker, it could be like a slow, like every few seconds sort of thing. It could be a couple of things. Sometimes this refers to a spirit presence. All of a sudden you've got a spirit guide, potentially a deity, potentially, it could be angelic presence. Depends on the person. Typically this is a presence of a spirit. Spirits mold energy, whether they like to or not, and that might interfere. It could be that the energy around you, the intention around you is shifting entirely. Like, instead of you wanting to have a banishing spell for this particular love interest, mid-spell your subconscious could decide, oh no, I want them back, I don't want to get rid of them. And so the energy shifts. The flickering could also mean that the flame is trying to have a conversation with you. When this happens, this is going to be something veering towards divination work, as in people staring at a flame and seeing what images come to mind. It's akin to looking into a black scrying mirror, looking into a flame, seeing if you have any imagery that pops out to you, that stands out, that comes to your head, and it feels just organic. That could be potentially what's happening there. Flame communication. So I want you to ask the flame questions if it's flickering. Watch for responses, whether the response is coming from a guide or whether it is coming from flame itself. Now, if you have a flame that is dancing, like it is wild, chaotic dancing, there's a lot of activity going on. It could mean passion, could mean conflict, could mean absolute chaos, but there's a lot of energy activity. Now, this is very useful for spells of banishment, like I said, disruption, so slightly more baneful work, useful for spells requiring rapid change, transformation. If you're doing, let's say you're doing a love spell, that's not a change spell. Let's say you're doing a love spell and the flame is going freaking crazy. It's dancing all over the place. It's a lot of high activity. Lots of high activity. So meaning there could be chaotic energy around them, aka this energy is not aligned for you, that person's energy is way too much for you, or wow, this connection could potentially have a lot of passion and strong energy to it. So unfortunately, it's like dream work. Flame work, while it does have a roughly outlined, this is what these flames and what they do, what they mean, there is always interpretation. So I want you to listen to what I'm telling you, take notes on it, but within your own practice, if you do this long enough, you're going to start to be able to tell what's going on with your flame, and it might be speaking to you in an entirely different language than my flames speak to me. And I hope I wasn't talking in circles then and that you understood what I'm saying, but I think that you guys are smart. You've got this. But yeah, this is interpretive, certainly, but there is a rough blueprint. Now, if you have a flame that is leaning to one side consistently, like I don't mean like the entire flame is like veering left, like that would be a bit of a concern. I would look for a draft at that point. But if it's every few seconds or like every, 10, 15 seconds, you notice a flicker of the flame is all of a sudden going left. It's leaning left and coming back up. It's leaning left and coming back up. That's what I'm talking about. Now, this is where this gets interesting because the directions are going to be pretty informative here. If you're staring at the candle and the flame is going left a lot, typically this is a subconscious energy. Subconscious, inward, towards the self energy. If the flame is veering right, this is going to be outward. This is going to be pushing energy out, other people, potentially external influences. So left is inward, right is out. Now, 3 more things. Well, actually 2 more things technically. If the flame is coming forward towards you, it's not going left or right, it's leaning towards you. That's progress. That is forward momentum, forward focus. If that flame is leaning backwards, it's leaning away from you. That's going to be past. Memory connection to slightly unaligned energy that is old and no longer serving its purpose, but there's still a connection there. So add directional meaning to your spell's intent. The remainder of this podcast can be purchased at our Patreon, Witchy Ways for Modern Days.